Make sure your pencils are sharpened and your notebooks are out because the class of 1999 is in session. Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Cooperstown 101. I have a very special guest here tonight to help me showcase the class of 1999, Mr. Mike Moynihan, baseball collector.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. Class of 99. Are you kidding?
I know.
Sure. Why not?
So before we go any further, you were the person that got me into YouTube. Back in 2017, 2018, I messaged you about, should I get into it? And you said yes, jump right in. And I have been looking forward to doing some content with you all these years and finally get to make it happen. So thank you very much for taking the time tonight.
You're very welcome. It's crazy to hear that from people. We all start somewhere. And it's cool. Your journey, has been different than most. And I think that, seeing so many people that leave YouTube, and there's been a ton of them, kind of never come back. They kind of, shut that part of their life out and they're done with it. And the fact that you've come back and now you're doing all this amazing content is just great. And I'm so glad that you are, Kyle.
I appreciate that. And quite frankly, a lot of that journey, the hobby aspect of that journey wouldn't have been what it was without, kind of your words of encouragement, always pushing people to, find Jesus and be the best person of themselves and use the hobby to, I believe, as you put it, work with God's currency, which is people. So I've always appreciated that aspect, and a couple of years ago it finally clicked for me, and that's I owe a lot of that to you. So thank you very much for all the content you've done. When you and I first talked, I think you were around 1,000 subscribers.
It's changed a little since then.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So this series is just talking about each Hall of Fame class. I am a huge Hall of Fame collector. That is my passion in the hobby. And I had the idea of just kind of going through class by class to talk about the players and showcase some cards for each of them, if possible. Some of them don't have necessarily too many pieces. So every guest I have on is going to have the choice of a completed class that I have. And Mike chose the class of 1999. And Mike, do you want to share why you chose 99?
Well, I want to party like it's 1999, as Prince would say. But, I mean, it was three guys that got in on the writer's ballot that were first-timers. All of them retired together. And I don't know if we want to talk about the names, but you've got, Ryan, Yount, and Brett. And then you had Cepeda, Shylock, and a couple of other guys that got in. It was a massive class, right?
Yep.
But Ryan, being one of my favorites of all time, is just one of those absolutely guys, So that's why I chose it.
When you sent the email back to me saying 99, I knew with Ryan that exactly why, and that it makes a lot of sense. So perfect.
And I have some cool pieces of these guys, so that's another reason.
That's another reason why I'm excited to do this one with you, because watching your channel over the years, I know this is your bread and butter.
It is.
So, but as Mike mentioned, the class of 99 had 7 guys. George Brett, Orlando Cepeda, Nolan Ryan, Robin Yount, Joe Williams, Nestor Shilak, and Frank Sallee. Um, and without further ado, let's start talking about him. So first up, I wanted to talk about Nestor Shilak. He's an American hero. Uh, he was an umpire. That's his bread and butter in baseball. But prior to being an umpire, he was in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. Shout out Jay, Jay Average Vintage Collector. He's a big Battle of the Bulge collector. He was nearly blinded from shrapnel during the battle. I have no idea how he became an umpire after that, but
That makes him a perfect umpire. You can't, everybody says the umpires are blind anyway.
yeah,
So
exactly. Um, During his umpire career, he was an American League umpire for 25 years, 5 All-Star games, 3 American League Championship Series, 5 World Series. He was also behind the plate for Koufax's final game in the '66 World Series. And then, special to me, he was the crew chief for the 10-cent beer night in Cleveland between the Rangers and Cleveland. So actually kind of special to both of us.
indeed.
So the card I have for Nestor Shilak is his only umpire days card, I believe. 1955 Bowman. Classic card. So I'm sure, Mike, you have that one as well.
I do. It's actually in the Beast. It's cool that 55 Bowman has it's the only set I've ever known that a mainstream set that has umpires, and you've actually got Kyle Hubbard in that set, Al Barlick, Nestor Shilak, and Jocko Conlon are all in that set.
Yep.
So pretty cool, actually.
Agreed. There's a pre-war exhibits in pre-war has some umpires, and then the Diamond Matchbooks in the 30s has some umpires, and that's the only other sets really that I can think of until you get to the Smokey Bear Harvey in the 80s, and that's it. So
it's funny, umpires, if you don't know their names, that means they're doing a good job because you're not complaining about them, or like we all know Angel Hernandez now because he's terrible, or whatever, not because they're good. Can I show a Shilak item?
Absolutely.
So what I did pull for him was I have let's see there, an autograph of his actually, which is not crazy easy. He's not one of the really, really hard ones, but he's not easy. This is just an index card, and it says on the index card, "To Ted, be a good sport, Nestor Shilak, AL umpire." And so he actually put his umpire number on there, like 974, whatever that is, or 774, something like that. But yeah, a Nestor Shilak autograph is glad
awesome.
To have that. See, you show the card, I show the auto. See, that's good.
The perfect marriage right there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, next up, I'll let you introduce the next player.
So we got Orlando Cepeda. He was also a Veterans Committee guy there. And Cepeda is just one of those guys that always felt, playing a lot of his career with the Giants. Then he played with the Cardinals and kind of bounced around a little bit after that. But he was with Willie Mays and Willie McCovey. Like, they were such a good team, or at least had 3 really good players. Cepeda never screamed Hall of Famer to me, given his stats, but he is in and still alive, still signing autographs, believe it or not. And the item I'm going to show of Cepeda is, and this is a theme for the night, just so you know.
Okay.
But there is his 58 Topps rookie autographed. And great card. He's the only Hall of Fame rookie in 58. So it's kind of unique and a great card.
Odd for that era, because 58, 57 had a couple, and then 59 had a couple. I mean,
57 had Drysdale
Yep.
and Mazeroski and Bunning and
Frank
both Robinsons.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, there were a lot.
Yeah. Yep. And then they didn't save any for 58.
That's right. One guy in 58. So
Mike's going to show the autos like he said, and I'll just show the cards. I have a beat up 72 and then a, was it 74? Yeah,
yeah,
74.
that's his last card.
Yep. That is from the first attempt at my Cooperstown collection when I did just last cards for post war.
How has your Hall of Fame collection evolved over time?
Let's see, started off breaking it up by era. So you have modern, which was 81 and up. Those were all rookie cards I went after. 81 to 47 was last card. So if the rookie year fell within that time span, I went for their last card. And then anything pre-war. I started 2017, 2018 was when I started to dive into that, and I was more focused on completing the entire Hall of Fame. And so I got to like 90, around 93% before selling a few years ago, selling a few or quite a few. And the second attempt, I'm at closing in on 70%. And it's a lot more fun. My focus now is rarity. A lot of, and the road less traveled will show a lot of this at some point, but a lot of what I've been acquiring is, low 20s to single digit pop Hall of Famers from pre-war. And I'm also, the first attempt was one card per player, and that was a mistake I made back then because I was rushing it and I didn't focus on just collecting the cards. Now I'm more appreciative of all the cards, and I want multiple cards for each Hall of Famer to showcase. So
Love it.
that's been the journey.
Love it how we all, our journeys do, have ebbs and flows to them. It's not usually a straight line
Yep.
to get where we ultimately want to be. And sometimes that means, I went down a road that I need to zig and zag here to get back kind of what I really love. But you have to go through that to discover that, right? It's not like you would have known that had you not gone through the way you were doing it and kind of feeling unsatisfied with that.
Yep.
And now realizing, I'm going to do this a different way, and it's way more fun.
Agreed. At the card shop I work at part-time, we have a full vintage case now with, it's half of it's pre-war and half of it's post-war. When people ask questions about it, I always tell them that typically, from what I've seen, people start with the shiny modern stuff, then they work their way back to the golden age, and then eventually they get back to this stuff, and they collect it all after that, and that's their collection is working through history. And part of my goal with my collection now is to help educate. I like talking about T206s versus a little bit rarer sets, and how are they distributed, what makes these so rare compared to T206s, and that's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, working at a card shop, it's probably pretty cool to have people show interest. I mean, I guess you had to talk the shop owner into having the vintage case. Is that true?
I got hired as the vintage guy.
Okay.
And once I kind of established a trust that what I was bringing in not only was legitimate, but also, and by bringing in, I mean, if I saw people were selling their cards, I would always just reach out to them and say, hey, the card shop might be interested if you're looking to sell. And they'd bring it in, we'd buy it. And so not only was it legitimate stuff, but also it's selling. We price fairly. We buy fairly and price fairly so that it can get out to the public and get into the right collections. We have a customer, talked to him about him a few times. You would appreciate him, and if we get the chance in Independence, I would like to introduce him to you. His name is Joey. He's 24 years old, and he loves baseball history.
Wow.
Met him through the shop, and he's bought tons of T206s, some T205s, and some other post-war vintage stuff from us. And I love developing that type of connection with people, and we talk almost every day now on Instagram. So,
Love it.
Yep. Yep.
All right, who's next?
Joe Williams is next. Smokey Williams is his nickname. He was a Negro League pitcher. He had two nicknames, I should say, Smokey and Cyclone. He pitched for the New York Lincoln Giants from 1910 to 1932. According to Sam Streeter, it took 2 catchers per game to catch Williams because he threw so hard. Quote, after the 5th inning was over, the catcher's hand would be all swollen up, so they had to switch catchers.
Wow.
And Ty Cobb called him a sure 30-game winner in the major leagues. So, unfortunately, Mr. Williams did not have a playing days card. So he was represented in my collection by a Ted Williams, I believe 1993 Ted Williams set. So,
cool.
Which is a great set, by the way, for anyone looking to collect some of those. Some of the Negro League players, they have a lot of great write-ups on the back.
Yeah, I don't have any of his stuff, so
I was kind of hoping you'd pop out an auto.
not gonna happen. Who's next?
I believe George Brett is up for you.
George Brett. So George Brett. I mean, it's hard to talk about these guys' careers because now we're talking about guys that are well known. I think Brett still has a strong hobby. Actually, it's kind of interesting. Everybody says, well, these players are going to get old and nobody's going to collect them anymore. And I don't know that I buy that, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of players that I collect that I've never seen play. Or Brett, I lived through his whole career and watched him play. He was always a nemesis of the Rangers because they were in the same division at the time. And I hated seeing him come to play the Rangers because he was so good. I do wish either him or Tony Gwynn, in 1980, Brett hit 390. And so he was really close to, getting that 400. I'd love to see somebody hit 400 in my lifetime. I just think it would be a fascinating thing. Brett, I think, got 98 points. I'll tell you exactly. 98.2% of the ballot, 3,000 hits, played his whole career with the Royals, and just absolutely phenomenal player. And I have his signed rookie right here, 75 tops.
It's a great card.
It's actually a relatively recent pickup. It's not a cheap card to buy graded or to buy signed. And so it's been one of those, all right, I'll get it eventually, and I just finally at a Dallas show said, screw it. Let's buy it. Let's get it. I did that with Schmidt recently and, some other guys that are in that not cheap range, so that's I have the whole Brett run. His last card's 90, he goes 75 to 94. And he's obviously in all the newer set. And he started signing he's in 5-star this year, 2025 5-star. He is signing a little bit more for tops, which is good because his auto is, again, not hard, but he doesn't sign like the other guys do, from that era. So
one question I have for you, obviously this class has 3 guys that you saw start to finish their entire careers, and they were 4 of the best players to really ever play the game. Do you think that helped shape your interest in baseball specifically, or was it just baseball at the time?
Yeah, I think it was all of it. It was a great era. I mean, if you think through the 80s, you had established stars, guys like Brett and Yount and Ryan and Seaver. And you can just name a laundry list of them. And you had guys' careers getting started like Sandberg and Boggs. And Even guys like Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden, who weren't Hall of Famers, and Fernando Valenzuela, and there was just Mattingly, exactly. Tony Gwynn. There was just a lot of talent.
Yep.
In that era, that's what really made me love it. And players were really, really good. And less teams, which was good to me.
Well, and like you said, the Rangers with Nolan Ryan and Brett being in the same division, that had a pretty direct influence on you being able to be so close as a fan.
Sure. I saw Brett play many times in person, and obviously on TV even more. But yeah, it influenced. It just made me love the game because there were so many great players at the time. Winfield and Jackson, and Pete
Henderson.
Rose, Mike Schmidt, and it's like, oh my gosh, Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan, and I mean, again, I'm barely scratching the surface. It was an amazing time.
Yep.
To be.
That's why the whole junk wax term needs to be retired, and because the players themselves were not junk. That is for certain.
For sure.
For Brett, I have a few here. I enjoy action shots, so I brought the 92 Upper Deck, where you can see the bend in the barrel there. I think that shot's pretty cool.
That is.
I have a 84 Topps Purina.
Yeah.
And then a 79.
Love the All-Star banner.
Agreed. And then this one is sentimental to me. This 77 was the first set that my dad passed down to me.
Nice.
So I always enjoyed the 77.
As we're talking about these guys and you're showing all these different cards, you got Yount, Ryan, and Brett, all of which started pre-81 when you had Fleer and Donruss come into the mix. And their careers spanned all the way into the early 90s when you have Upper Deck and Score and, Pinnacle and all these, so many different things come along, Sport Flicks, you name it. So these guys have tons and tons of just regular base issue cards. Forget about all the Purinas and the, Slurpee coins and all the stuff they were on throughout that era, which means collecting these guys is not hard. There's tons of choices and you can go down so many roads to collect them. They just spanned that era that's unique. They were in all these different sets.
Agreed. And I think with how great that era was, it's good that they have so many cards because it's an easy way to get, I think it's important to get kids interested in baseball history and telling them to collect a, George Brett 1992 Upper Deck card because you can see the bat barrel bent, or a 91 Bowman, of these guys. You can get into them pretty easily without breaking the bank, and it's. I think it's pretty special that they have so many cards.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Frank Salee. Frank is a sore subject for me a little bit because I bugged Mike with like 3 different emails on on switching up this class. So Frank has 2. So let me get into Frank's bio. Frank was a manager for the Boston Bean Eaters back in the 19th century. Started in 1890 after he was in the minor leagues, so he never actually played Major League Baseball. He played amateur ball until he quit his job in 1884 to raise $1,000 and form a minor league team of his own. He got a quick reputation of being an excellent talent evaluator and manager. So Boston picked him up in 1890. He coached there until 1901, and then moved to Chicago and coached Chicago from 1902 to 1905. As a manager, he had 1,284 wins. and had a 59.8% winning percentage. He was known for encouraging a civilized style of play, which apparently was unheard of back then. They played a little dirty. And he is famous for acquiring Tinker and Evers, or Joe Tinker and John Evers, at Chicago. And he moved Frank Chance from catcher to first base, creating the famous Tinker to Evers to Chance double play combo, which is the topic of, or the subject of, baseball's sad lexicon. Collecting him is very difficult. He has two pieces that, from every bit of research I've done, the 1904 Allegheny card is his only card, quote unquote, and there was only one known to exist. I was talking to Mike. This is where the emails came. He picked 1999, and I had a completed class of 99, and once I looked at Salih and saw that he had two playing days cards, the ambitious part of me said, I want to actually target owning one of his, so we should probably change the class. Once I dug into what those cards were, I realized my wallet does not want to own these cards.
Right.
And the Allegheny card, I spoke with the owner, or to the owner who has the card. He's on net 54. There is a thread on there called what is the rarest card you own? And that is what prompted my research into this. He shared it. So he has that, and then he has a 19th century PE2 Pepsin gum pin, which the guy who owns the Allegheny card told me there's only 2 or 3 known to exist. So unfortunately, he is pretty uncollectible for the average person. So I have a Perez Steel as my representation of him.
Nice. Well, his auto is dang near impossible. He's in there's a list on the PSA set registry of guys that are just like, okay, you're not getting him, and ironically, I have one of those guys that we call them red inkers on the list because they're in red ink instead of black ink on the screen. And Frank Salih is one of those guys. So impossible.
Yep.
Very difficult.
Do you know how many copies are out there?
I don't. I could look in the Kirchhoff Bible over here and probably tell you, but
yeah,
not sure. So,
what is your? I know you are huge on the PSA set registry. You have 2 focuses. You have autographs and the 5-decade set.
Yep.
Are those your 2 main ones?
Yeah.
What are your ranks in both?
Well, there is no 5-decade set on the registry. So they do each decade individually, and I'm in the single digits on each one. I think I'm as high as 4th on one, and then on the the 300 great cards, I'm like number 9. What was the autographs though? I'm not very high because the autographs need to be graded in order to count for the registry, and like. My Cepeda is just authentic. My Brett is just authentic. So, they're not, the autograph's not graded. I think they're going to change that, actually. I've heard rumors that they're going to change that. It'll just count as a 1, but at least it'll count that you own it, and
I'm surprised it wasn't set up that way to begin with.
Well, they want you to spend more money to get the auto graded. And I'm just not, I'm anal about a lot of things. There's just a few things that I think is just silliness. And so that's one of them. And so I keep my own, spreadsheet, but I don't know what I would have, where I would be on that, if not for that caveat. But, being ranked at all is not important. Yeah. To me, it's more about completion than having the best one. And so, obviously, I'm a lower grade guy or mid grade guy on a lot of things because I like to get more. And everybody said, well, don't you want, I'd rather have high quality cards. And I'm like, I'd rather have all the cards. And so with everybody has a budget, right? I don't have unlimited funds to throw at the hobby like everyone else. And so I want to get the most different cards that I can in nice examples or nice autos or whatever, right?
Yep.
So That's sorry, just throwing that tidbit in there.
Well, I will say I think Chris from Missouri would wish you cared a little bit less about the grade for your your showcase showdowns.
Do you like that show?
I love
you
it.
Enjoy that?
So funny story about that. We being in Ohio, this is something that you Texans don't have to deal with too much. We have something called firewood because it gets really cold in here for a very long time in the winter. And I'm kidding about that. I know you guys just had a huge ice storm, and I'm glad you guys got through that. I think relatively okay from.
But it was 83 today.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited for 40 tomorrow for the first time since I think November. So
wow.
We've had I think 2 straight weeks of negatives, which has been awesome. Anyways, I was outside with my girls last fall stacking firewood, and I was so excited every time I was stacking firewood, and because I did it over a couple days, and there was a new episode of Showcase Showdown, because I'd throw it up, I'd throw it on a speaker, listen to it, see the card, then listen to you guys talk about it, move some wood, and my girls were asking a few questions about it, so it was awesome. I really enjoy that show.
Well, we're gonna maybe do a live one in Independence.
Spoiler.
People, we did one last year, and it was a huge hit, and everybody loved us doing that. And Chris whooped me, actually, which is unusual, as you know. And so I think I'm going to get to pick what we do this year and give myself a distinct advantage. We'll see.
That's awesome. By the way, your shift to series, you have the podcast, you have the Showcase Showdown. That was a little bit of my inspiration to shift my channel to series, because I think that is a more fun form, at least for me, of doing YouTube, and you do a great job with it. So,
thank you. It makes content sustainable, right?
Yep.
If you have a series and something that you're just doing, it doesn't have to be weekly. It doesn't have, we're on a break right now from Showcase. We're not doing it all the time where you get burnt out on it.
Yep.
It just gives you a reason to put out content instead of just I'll sprinkle in other stuff all the time, but yep. I enjoy having things to look forward to and just topics to cover, and it just makes a lot of sense. I think that's a good decision by you.
I appreciate that. And Golden Age of Cardboard's another one. We just redid our master bedroom with new flooring and all that stuff. Hour-long podcast, throw that up and just listen while I knock out flooring. It's perfect. So I appreciate you accompanying me during housework.
I'm happy to do it.
Who do you have next?
Well, it's my guy, Nolan, and I've actually caught Nolan Ryan before, which is not a lot of guys. Well, a lot of guys can say that. He pitched forever, 27 seasons, but obviously everybody knows 5,714. Do you agree that that's a record that will never be broken?
It is, and it's actually a feature on one of the cards I'm going to show for that reason.
Okay, yeah, It's never getting broken. I don't even know how many Nolan Ryan autographs I have in my collection now. It's a lot, but I will show his 68 Topps rookie.
The Koosman rookie.
Koosman rookie. I don't. A lot of guys have it dual signed, Ryan and Koosman.
Yep.
I don't want to ruin that card by getting Jerry. Not that I just like Jerry Koosman. No offense against him. He was a great player, actually. But this one was a foundation autograph, Hall of Fame inscription. And, it's one of those just really cool, who wouldn't want a signed Ryan rookie? And I have a signed Ryan, or I have a regular one. It's a PSA 3, and it's one of those, I don't like to upgrade cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I wouldn't mind a 6 or a 7 someday in the Ryan rookie, some key cards. I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind higher grades, but I have a Ryan, it's mine. Should I really, I don't know. I go back and forth on that.
Yep.
So.
Have you guys, I forget, have you guys done 68 for your Showcase Showdown?
I don't know that we have, honestly.
Well, maybe you should get an upgraded Ryan rookie.
Yeah, then I'll need to upgrade that sucker because rookies are worth double.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that example you have there with the auto, I like that he signed the middle,
Yes.
and then that centering on that is very sharp.
Yeah, this if I graded this card, it would be much higher than my actual Ryan. It's probably a 5, would be my guess.
Yeah.
But when the Ryan puts it, they put the sticker on the back for his foundation. They will no longer grade the card if there's a stick, whether it's PSA sticker, a JSA sticker. They will not grade the card, and so you can't. I couldn't even grade the card even if I wanted to. But I love the dual authentication of the Ryan Foundation sticker and a PSA.
Yep.
So
That's
I'd
very
rather
cool.
have that than a graded card. But
Did you catch him in high school or?
it was high school. My brother won, my twin brother. So I was a catcher. My brother was a pitcher. He won Tarrant County, our county player of the year. He was really, really good. And he was a left-handed pitcher. And he went to the paper had all Tarrant County guys there. I was not one of them, but they were all there at Arlington Stadium. And Nolan Ryan kind of was there taking pictures with that team, that high school all-county team. And in that process, I had my mitt with me and I said, "Hey, Nolan, you want to throw?" And he was literally just tossing with me. And I swear he was throwing 80, 85. I mean, it was like, holy crap. This guy can zing it when he's just not even trying, Have you seen the documentary Fastball?
I have. Is that on Netflix?
Probably.
So we don't have Netflix. So I have not seen it.
It might be on Prime, or I would just Google,
Yeah.
It actually is on YouTube.
Is that on
You can
YouTube
watch
now?
it on YouTube. Yep. And I'm telling you, when we're done with this tonight, as you're laying in bed watching Fastball, it's fascinating about who threw the fastest pitch. And it compares Walter Johnson and Bob Feller and through the eras. And I don't want to spoil it. But
Yeah. Well,
it's good.
I know, didn't they change how pitch speed was calculated, and that's been part of the controversy too?
And that is discussed in amazing historical context, how they did it back in the day and now, and all the, everybody thinks Aroldis Chapman threw the fastest pitch, but they adjust all of those speeds and kind of come to a common, okay, we're going to do them all this way, who threw the fastest. And it's so cool. Now I want to go watch it again.
I will find that and definitely watch it. My wife will be asleep and she won't have to worry about it. So that is awesome.
It's really good.
For my Ryan showcase, I have the 84 Purina. I like the oddball stuff.
Love it.
I have the 78, the 82, 78 record breaker, and then the 1980 Kellogg's.
Love it.
And the last one I'm going to show you, we alluded to it earlier, is the 5,000 strikeouts one, because I think there's no other player that's going to be able to have that in their background, and that's a pretty cool card.
I'm mildly depressed you have no Rangers Nolan Ryan cards.
I have Rangers. I didn't bring them all up. There's one with all three. Let's see. I don't have any out. I left those down there in the basement. I apologize for that.
That's all right. So there are three players. I'm going to quiz you.
Okay.
Three players. In 1990, Nolan Ryan had the first, 5 or 6 cards, whatever it was in the set, right? The Nolan Ryan kind of showcase. What other 2 players has Topps done that for?
Mantle.
Nope.
I'm a pre-war guy. I don't know.
Hank Aaron in 1974. They had the Hank Aaron special cards.
Okay, that was the Home Run King to start it off.
Home Run King was card number 1, and then
Yep.
card number 2 was 54, 55, 56. It had 4. It had all the Topps cards.
Okay.
And then they did it again in 1986 for Pete Rose. So same thing.
Interesting. I'll have to go double check to see if I have any of those.
Yeah, just a little trivia for you.
Appreciate that.
All right, last but not least.
Yep. Last but not least is Mr. Robin Yount. He is a Hall of Fame. He went in the Hall of Fame as a shortstop, but he did play two positions. He played from 1974 through 1993, just like Ryan and Brett. He is a two-time MVP winner at two different positions, shortstop, and then after he had his shoulder injury, second base. He broke Mel Ott's record for most games as a teenager on September 14th, 1975, with 242 games played under the age of 20. And he got his 3,000th hit on September 9th, 1982 against my Cleveland Indians. So for Yount, I have one of the coolest cards ever made. The
92
score.
92 Fleer.
Fleer, 92 Fleer. The baseballs as almost the clouds. Here's the 1984 Drakes.
I'm a big Drakes fan.
I agree. 1982 again. Got to show off a Diamond Kings.
Now you're speaking my love language.
Yes. And then the 84 Purina, of course. And the coolest one I have, the most oddball one, is what year is this? 92? 1992 Score Pinnacle. Robin Yount riding a motorcycle.
So great. I think that's the same year they have Glavin playing hockey or something like that. Well, Robin Yount still bothers me because in 1989 he won the MVP, and it should have been Ruben Sierra. Ruben Sierra was totally robbed, and Robin Yount won the MVP, and I've never forgiven him for it. But I still buy his cards, including a 75 Topps signed rookie.
Of course.
I mean, why not? Because I have his whole run, and I have all of these guys, their whole runs and stuff. So
that's part of the reason why I asked you to be on the first episode, because your run of a lot of these guys is complete, or very darn near complete.
Yeah.
So and your knowledge on it, your background knowledge on it too, is way up there. So.
Well, we could have done Perez Steele Hall of Fame postcards. We could have done Diamond Kings. I could have shown you examples of all of those guys.
Yep.
And there's just, again, it's so cool because there's so much that you can get. Then pick your poison, right? Pick the way you want to collect these guys. There's, like you're doing the oddball, there's tons of that stuff in the 80s and to go get. And you can buy the regular stuff too. And Topps, Fleer, Donruss, Score, Upper Deck, blah, 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 all of it.
Yep.
I have one last piece I want to show you. I know we're done with each of the players,
yeah,
but I have something really cool. I don't know that I've even shown it on the channel before, but hey. So a couple years ago, Chasing Cardboard did an episode with Raleigh Fingers in Las Vegas. One thing Raleigh Fingers did was he would take the program around with him, multiple copies of it, and get it signed by the players.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought this from Raleigh Fingers' collection of him doing this in 1999, and I have the program signed by Nolan Ryan, George Brett, Robin Yount, and Orlando Cepeda.
Oh my gosh.
And to me, that's just crazy cool. He had several of them, ironically. And here's he gave me a certificate of authenticity signed by him. I, Raleigh Fingers, certify that the Hall of Fame annual program comes straight from my personal collection. My signature below ensures that it's 100% authentic. So I've got a signature of his in addition to that piece. Like, how cool is that, right?
I remember that episode of Chasing Cardboard.
Okay.
Because it's one of my favorites, with the story about him. He was just about to retire with the Brewers, and Pete Rose wanted him to come play for the Reds, but the manager the owner of the Reds wanted him to shave his mustache, and I think he had some choice words for the general manager to pass on to the owner, and that was the end of his career. So
and there you go.
I remember that episode, and I think I remember. Were you Did you pick that up on the episode, or was that
Probably.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, I was FaceTiming with Raleigh Fingers and kind of negotiating. We did a lot of stuff off camera where I bought several of his cards. I bought other autographs from other players that he had gotten over the years. And that was kind of the centerpiece of that, whatever I ended up buying.
Yeah.
I bought 2 of his rookies from him, signed by him, and he slabbed them himself. Like, how cool is that?
That adds a whole nother level.
It does. Really does. Like, this was his card of himself, signed by him, slabbed by him. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But that program's neat, and he had a bunch of them, and I just wasn't like, this one just meant a lot more because of the Ryan, and it had all 4 guys on it. And so I just think that's a cool piece. So there you go.
Well,
that's class of 99 for you. That's the best 99. That's the whole class.
I was going to say, we are in Olympic season right now, and if this were curling, you would have the hammer there, because that is quite the piece to finish off with. So, Mike, thank you again for taking the time tonight to showcase your part of the 1999 class and talk about the players and managers and umpires with me. And again, really appreciate it.
You bet. Happy to do it, Kyle, and keep up the great work, and looking forward to your series and all the other different classes, and see who you get on there to show off their cards. I love it.
Thank you. And if anybody out there has been living under a rock and isn't subscribed to Mike, please go check out his channel. It is I think I've commented on his video before that his channel is a roadmap on how to collect. It's very passionate. It's very straightforward, and a lot of good advice on his channel. So, and with that, school's out. Until the next class, live free, dream big.